Hi, Francis here again, and happy Valentine's Day. Today is the day we celebrate love, or Lover's Day. And from yesterday, I'm suggesting that as part of today's celebrations, or in addition to, one of the things that you can do for your marriage is to have a marital performance review. Now, if this is especially for you, if for one reason or another, you find that this Valentine's Day seems to have lost its meaning, or it no longer as exciting for you as it used to happen, or you no longer see the need to celebrate Lover's Day in your marriage currently, especially if you're not having as much happiness or as much fun as you're supposed to have. Now, marital performance review really is about results, and I can tell you that if you're not happy in your marriage, that's a result. If you're not as happy as you think you should be, that's also a result. Now, one of the things we agreed upon yesterday is that we are not spectators in our lives. We are creators of our lives. And if you want to change that, if you want to enjoy more happiness, more trustworthiness, more, just more marital bliss, you can actually get that. And performance review, the marital performance review, is one of the tools that you can have in your arsenal to help you achieve this. Now, we looked at some of the elements of a marital performance review, and we talked about agreement as being the first one, measurement as being a second one, thirdly, feedback, and fourth, positive reinforcement or dialogue around it. So, for example, if I want happiness, I need to know, what does happiness in my marriage look like? How can we measure that happiness? And if you're measuring, can we discuss the results of that measurement? Yeah. And then what happens there? Is there a reward, or is there positive reinforcement so that we can go back to being able to achieve that happiness? Now, the starting point, as you know, is agreement. Are you and your spouse on the same page? So, for example, if I asked you, what's the definition of a perfect husband? Or if I asked you, what's the definition of a perfect wife? And then I asked your partner, your spouse, what's their definition of a perfect husband or their definition of a perfect wife? Would the two answers be the same? So you can imagine now, if we were to take the two answers, and put them together so that you agree on one answer, and then both of you agree to working towards this perfect husband or this perfect wife together, how much more will that do for your marriage? How much more happiness would that give you and your spouse and your marriage in total? And that's what we mean about getting on the same page. So as a starting point, you need to have a vision together. And in a previous video, I did discuss how to come up with a simple vision statement for you and your partner. So the vision statement becomes the first thing that you need to do if you want to do a review. It gets the two of you aligned in the same direction. It gets your visions aligned in the same direction. The second thing that you need to do is what the HR people like talking about a lot, and these are key performance indicators. Now, in a marriage, when you look at literature, whether from sociology or from psychology, there are certain functions that a marriage does, or the marriage meets certain needs in us. So I like aligning the key performance indicators in marriage to these functions of a marriage. And there are 6 of them. So talk about the need for companionship. So we get married because we need companionship. We have the need for sexual intimacy, or, we have the need for self-growth. I need to grow in my career, personal development, etc. She needs to do the same. We talk about the need for belonging or for family, and what does that mean for you and for her. The need for financial security, and then the need for spiritual development. Yeah, so if you are to have a performance review, you need to discuss these 6 needs and then set goals around them. So for example, if we were to take the first need of companionship or connection, one question that you would like to ask your spouse is, if this need was to be met perfectly, how would it look like? Now, this is not the time to question. Just let them tell you, this is it. Like a brainstorming session. They will write for you, it means A, B, C, D, E. And then you need to tell her or him what that need looks like if it was made perfectly for you. And again, she needs to write what that means. So once you've taken the 2 answers, so for example, she says the need for companionship is having dates, it's going for long walks together, and then you tell her that for the need of companionship is to spend time together, to go watching football or a sport together. So when you have the 2 of them, you can come up together and say, now how do we meet this need for the 2 of us? And when you come together, you set a goal. So for example, you can decide that we'll have dinner together every Friday, and after dinner we are going to watch a football game or a sport together. So already you have a way, you've agreed on a way to measure this need for companionship. So in your first key performance indicator of companionship, you have set a goal. So for example, said, if this is going for dinner together as a date and watching a sport together, if you agree that it works for the 2 of you perfectly, then you can agree on how many times you want to measure it. So is it every Friday? Are you going to discuss this every quarter or every 6 months or every year? And and you can see how often has this happened. Yeah, and if it hasn't happened, why did it not happen? And if it didn't happen because of XY reasons, what can we do to modify or to better achieve what it is that we want? So that's one key performance indicator of connection. If you were to do this with all the other indicators of sexual intimacy, self-growth, family, or belonging, financial security, and spiritual development, then you have 6 key performance indicators which you can actually review. So again, once you've agreed that you're both working towards happiness or marital bliss, and you take down these 6 pillars, then you should be able to come up with a way to review your marriage. Yeah. Now, specifically for this period, for the next 1 month, if you're watching this video, I will give you a free session to begin this process in your marriage, for you and your spouse, to be a free 30 to 40 minute session where we can put you on the line so that you can begin this process. And all you have to do is call me and book a session. So if you can call me on 0774 962 447, you get your free session. Secondly, if you would like to do this, or if you think you can do this by yourself, there's actually a tool that you can download from my website. That is www.mshauri.org. And again, you can get the tool. It will ask you for your email so that you can send it to you, and you can get the tool and you can work on it by yourself. Yeah, as usual, if you find this video useful, please subscribe to the channel. You can share it with other people who may benefit from this tool, and keep smiling. Thank you.